T for sure.
Brian, yo,
What's
did y'all talk about Brian T? You did last week,
We
right? You spoke
did.
about Brian T last week, which
but
was
we didn't really have all the details.
No.
We only had the press release that they
I mean,
released.
because the video dropped after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
we
right
were
after.
at least made aware of it after the show. So
Yeah. And then like I think the full video came out. Like,
Yeah, and then she made another statement. Did you guys see?
no,
yeah, she did, right? She
I
made
did.
another
I did.
statement after that. I guess she kind of like, uh, I don't know how you put it. Like, she felt kind of bad, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. Did she? Not that she felt bad. I think she kind of regret the way she did it. Maybe I don't know. You tell me. It seemed like it, but
I would say so. I mean, the
yeah,
statement said something along the lines of her having that out there for the internet to see and how she like
Was
yeah,
embarrassed.
was embarrassed that
yeah,
she was like basically crashing out on the live. And then
yeah.
she mentioned like I think she said that like the Lord prompted her to go to her husband or whatever, and she found him like a hotel room, and she's like, I saw like a broken man, and if I didn't go, he wouldn't be here today, type thing.
As a,
So I think that they're working it out, or she's trying to work it out. But it's like, yeah, after all that, that's a lot.
oh, that's tough. I don't know what y'all think about that.
What?
About the broken man, he wouldn't be here today thing. Like reading between the lines, like was it more like this dude was about threatening to kill himself? And I don't know. I'm bugging. Like that's how I read it.
Yeah,
I
that's how I read it too.
I, I could be wrong. Cause are you about to say something? What?
Well, because obviously I don't know their marriage, so I don't want to specifically speak to
Yeah.
their marriage. But if my cousin or if a close family member or even myself like was in a relationship where infidelity kept on happening like over and over and over, at what point am I like allowing that? Because to me, I just sometimes it seems like people, Christians, I should say, use the God told me line too much. And I don't,
Oh,
not to say
yeah.
that I don't believe when they say that, but I don't know. I feel like God cares too much about his children to be allowed, you know what I mean? Allowing someone else to like continue to hurt them and live in that. I don't know. It's weird, but I know marriages that dealt with that or do deal with that or
Yeah.
like not over and over, but like have dealt with that and worked it out and stayed
Hmm.
together and are still together to this day. So I know that reconciliation and restoration is, God can provide that for marriages that actually, want to work out and stuff. But
Hmm.
when you're, you know, constantly going through it and your partner is constantly cheating and people are coming to you saying, hey, I slept with him or whatever
Ooh.
the case may be, and they're constantly out of town without you and you're with the kids, I just feel like that's just the recipe for disaster, period. Like if
Yeah.
you're constantly not going to be here with the kids, then why are we even married if you want to go live your life as a single person?
Now,
Yikes.
I think that so like them, like him leaving her with the kids. I think now that we know the situation, like it seems crazy, right? Because I mean, there's plenty of people that travel without their wife and kids, right? And when they're doing events or shows or whatever the case is, but the fact that we know, like he's purposely, or at least it sound like from what she said, that he purposely was making these trips without her, and then her knowing or knowing that there was something going on. Yeah, that was crazy. That even from her side, that she allowed him to travel alone. You know what I'm saying? Or she didn't go.
Mhm.
Things of that nature. Whatever the case. Again, I don't know. I hate I don't like assuming, but if we're gonna speak on what we heard, like that's crazy.
And then
Just
also another thing that I really, again, I don't want to speak to her
yeah,
marriage, but I do want to speak about things that she had stated.
right, exactly.
She had like mentioned that she wasn't taking as many bookings because he would like tell her like, you why aren't you whatever, blah blah blah. And I just feel like if you're supposed to be walking in God's purpose, wouldn't you want to fulfill that? and not listen to, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, I just feel like I would never be with a person who doesn't allow me to put God first in whatever purpose that he's called me to do. Like, my husband is going to basically support, like, this is God's hand is in this. You fulfill that, you go and run with that. Even if we have kids, we'll work it out. And as soon as when you know, I saw the live or whatever, and she was saying something about like him traveling a lot by himself, I immediately thought of T.I. He would when he was on tour, they had a family bus, so all the kids and Tiny would tour with him. And I just feel like that's one example of, this is how you stay committed, right. And not like accountable. And again, if you aren't able to travel, I'm not saying like every married Christian has to travel with their wife and kids, but I do think that you should travel with people that can hold you accountable and stuff. If you're wanting to work it out, I just feel like it's kind of messy when you're saying, I want to work it out, but then your actions say something totally opposite. And then when they're ready to leave, then you're like, no, I want to kill myself. No, I want to, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's very manipulative, narcissistic. It's giving like wishy-washy. I want to do what I want to do.
The killing part is crazy. Like, you threatening to kill yourself as a tactic. And I don't know if he is. I mean, he could have possibly actually said it. But the fact that, you know, when someone uses that, and then, I mean, that's because I've seen it before. Like, I've seen it where men have used that as a tool to keep, you know, to reel them back in, you know what I'm saying, to get that sympathy and all of that. And that's so corny. And if that's what he did, and you know what's crazy, like, I think I had mentioned it to the fellas, but we know, like, a lot of times when men slip up, you know, a lot of times it's usually, right, like infidelity, temptation, things like, you know, in temptation into, you know, in that side of things, leading to women and, you know, stepping outside of their marriage. And we've seen it a lot of times, right? We've seen it with Gavi, we've seen it with pastors, whatever. And the thing is, when I saw that with him, I didn't want to talk bad about it, or, you know, because I've seen it happen so many times. And obviously, you know, with men, you know, the enemy's always going to attack the home, right? The leader first, the man of the house. And it happens. What killed me was how he treated her, though. Like, you know, not helping around the house and talking down to her, and just, that was like another level, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I've seen men that, you know, they treat their women great and still step out, right? And I've seen that too, where, you know, they don't know, you know, sometimes they ain't even have a clue that it happened. But like, it's like he was just, I mean, he was going all the way in. Not only he was cheating, but I was just laying in the bed watching her change Pampers and not helping. And
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, crushing her dreams, telling her she's not as good, or like, oh, that part was the wow part to me. Like, it was just so unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that I thought was a little bit crazy. You know, like, where he was like, oh, you was all the way out of it. Because like, what is that? Like, we understand that stepping out can be that temptation, that flesh or whatever, but that other, like, what is that? Like, why do that to her? That's what kind of threw me off. So I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like, okay, but she's allowing it too, though. Like,
she did.
Again, I know people use the argument like, well, you know, when you're in an abusive relationship, sometimes you just get like accustomed to it, or like you have that syndrome or whatever. I'm not saying that I'm not speaking on her specifically. I'm just thinking about women in general. But clearly, you know, when somebody's treating you wrong, because if she thought he was treating her right, she wouldn't have went on live and been like, he does so many things. This is what he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? They mean all these things that he does wrong. So clearly, you know that it's wrong. Like, that's not something that a good marriage entails,
You know,
Mhm.
and go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean that was pretty much it. I just think that like it does take two to like allow all of that turmoil to happen. Like, yes, he's wrong, but I think that if you're letting somebody treat you that way and you're still staying, not to say that you're saying it's okay, but I do think that it allows people to push further and further without like,
because there's no repercussions.
yes.
Like she's not gonna go. Like if he's thinking to himself, she's never gonna go to the elders. She's never gonna expose me. She's never gonna tell the public. She's
I pay
gonna
for
listen.
everything.
I pay for everything. She's
Yeah.
gonna listen to what I say. Like Jay's LA put in the comments, the manipulation. He said she ain't as anointed because he gets more bookings.
Yeah, that's
and if he's
crazy.
telling her stuff like that, and she's never like, you know what I mean? Like she's never exposing that. She's never making him clean. You know, she's not telling him like, do not come back here. She's not telling him like, I'm going to the elders right now. Like, why would he stop?
Yeah.
I think in some way, like if like just looking at the situation and how she was, and like it was sad to see, right, that video and how she was affected by it. And then towards the end when she thought she ended it and she broke down crying, like that was crazy. And I was thinking that it's more maybe possibly the fact that I think she loves him so much that she's willing to protect his image. Like, and she went even further than he would obviously ever do to protect him, his image. And then also like what you touched on, the fact that he's also providing for the house, because obviously she's not doing her own thing. So, you know, she probably felt like, you know, she had to rely on him. And as far as like anybody else holding him accountable, I mean, obviously, I would assume that when he's traveling, at least he would have some KMF folks with him, right?
Right.
So, I mean, is he doing this by himself? I would assume that there's someone from the camp that's with him. Like any of these events, I highly doubt that he's just him alone going everywhere. So I feel like somebody might have known, because they're talking about, oh, this is a couple years ago. Because even that statement, now that I see it, seems like they kind of try to sweep it under the rug with like, oh, he's been working on this. This is a couple of years old or whatever the case. But when she was speaking, it seemed more like this is
present
recent.
day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's still happening.
Right.
And by them releasing that statement, it's like, oh, y'all just really trying to sweep it under the rug type of thing. And then keep it moving. But yeah, I think she was really trying to, with all of that other stuff, she knew all of that. Man, she was just trying to protect his image for the most part. And she just, you know, I guess whatever she found out last, now that's crashing out. I don't know what Lecrae did, but this is crashing out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And rightfully
Nice
so,
segue.
though.
Right.
Rightfully
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
though.
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you can't blame her, right? I mean,
Listen, in the famous words of Auntie Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? Honestly, if he would like, I would be like, okay, when he's out of town, I'm booking shows. I'm taking that money and pocketing it until I have enough to get
bounce.
out and leave when he's gone again. Like, this is, I mean, again, I'm not trying to speak on her relationship. Maybe the Lord did tell her to go to Texas and bring him back and get her husband back and stuff like that, so that they can reconcile or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that I'm not dealing with it over and over and over and over and over, and then allowing him to continue after he cheated the first or second time to go on tour by himself or do bookings by himself. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not reconciling.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go right back to the same,
That's a pass.
Stuff. Yeah, the same stuff. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, no. I could.
Oh man.
But I think a lot of women too, like, underestimate their individual purpose that God has for them too.
For sure.
And I think like that's important.
It is important.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think when she was saying he doesn't read his Bible and, you know, we do like type stuff. And I just feel like, okay, so when he's telling you these things, why aren't you hitting them back with some scripture?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I would have been
A
like,
double-minded man is unstable and you an unstable creature.
no, real
He
talk.
And I
was- he was-
rebuke you. Get the
he was
hot
like, what
behind
verse
me,
is that?
Satan.
What verse is that?
Right.
Real talk.
What versus you cheating? What
Real
versus you laying up in the bed not helping? What versus you not caring for the kids?
That's
Well, like, wait, what part of scripture is that? What part of the kingdom is that? Let me know. Because if we not following any kingdom principles in this house, then I'm gonna go step
Bye.
out too. Like for real. You know what I mean? Like, like I don't know. I don't understand how people their
right.
marriage amok.
Right.
Like
No order.
there's no repercussions at all. Like, oh,
Mhm.
because I want to be loyal to him. There's nothing about him that's been loyal to you.
And I get that you have kids, so you see that was another thing that I disagreed with. You
Oh, she
crashing
had
out
the
in front of the
kids.
kids.
She had the kid right
I
here.
would never do
Yeah.
that. Yes, I want to crash out right now, but mom, take the kids away, please. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get them out the house so that I could crash out in peace and not let them know that mommy's going through it. Like,
That was sad.
because they know.
Oh yeah, kids
you
know
know?
for sure.
It's I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Yeah,
just was, it
LNF.
was very messy. He said
LNF said this is one side of the
one
story.
side of the
y'all
story.
chill.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not.
But we are going off of the side of the story that she was saying.
Yeah. We just speaking on what she said. So yeah. So relax.
You know.
Yeah.
But like I know that it can come off like insensitive, and I don't want for it to. Because like I'm sure that like that's a lot to deal with, and I'm
It
sure that
is.
it's really hard, and especially if
Mhm.
she's been with him since she was young.
Yes.
Like I can
Mhm.
understand why that would be hard, like to
Mhm.
expose him or whatever. But like at a certain point, enough is enough. I don't think that she should have apologized for going live,
Mhm.
and saying what she did because he was wrong. Like, and then I also think the ministry sweeping it under the rug too with the statement is wild. Like, why did y'all say, "Oh, this was 2 years ago"? And like,
To me,
why
I-
are we trying to cover like hate for him or cover it up?
Well, I
Wait,
still feel like
I have a question.
you
though.
didn't
I have
even
a
try to
question.
defend yourself. So is it true?
Yeah.
Who, him?
I have a,
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
I have a
well,
question.
enough to say, oh, it's one side of the story. Yeah, but if I
He
wanted to
hasn't come out
defend
yet.
myself, I was about to go out and be like, no, this is actually not true.
All right.
What she's speaking of is blah, blah, blah. She's still kind of hurt. I apologize, blah, blah, blah. But like, he didn't say nothing. It was like, oh, this was the past and we're working on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's speaking more on the stuff at home. Okay. So yeah.
Just
yeah.
saying, we don't know how involved he is at home. Oh, I'm
for
not
sure.
speaking to, if you were here in the beginning,
I
I said I'm not speaking on their marriage, but I am
Yeah.
speaking on specific things that she brought up, and how I feel about the things that she brought up. I'm not speaking
Nah.
on them.
Nah, Mason Wilder.
that's
What does this have to
crazy.
do with it?
Well, I know that. I mean, well, never mind.
Yo.
That's crazy.
In the Instagram comments, Jay Blaze said, I felt bad for her. She probably doesn't trust anyone in her circle, including church folk. It's sad. That statement was funny work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah, it's a mess. I feel like it's
it
a
is
mess.
But I also think that, like, because you said something about the live, you're not mad at her for going live. Is that what you said?
I'm
Yeah.
not mad at her for exposing him. That's really
okay.
what it is.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not mad at her for saying what he, like, saying her side of the story, saying what he did.
Oh.
Because if, like, this is something that he did, like, I don't agree with people trying to be loyal to people that ain't been loyal to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
and so that's why I'm like, I'm not mad at her for
I just
saying
feel
what
like she shouldn't have
said.
went live. If like if I know my pattern and I'm like, okay, I've been
Yeah,
through
you
this a
gonna
couple
go
times
back?
and I went back, I'm not gonna put it on live and be like, he did this and this and this and that. And then the next day, I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed.
No,
And
yeah, for sure. I feel like
God
she
told
shouldn't have-
me.
I
and
wouldn't
da- da-
apologize. I would have doubled down. I would have. I would be like, yeah, I said what I said and it was true. And then I went and drove to him and he was wanting to kill himself. And and it was like, well, I wonder why. I'd be like, well, I wonder why.
He came to
So you
his
think-
spidey senses.
You think he you think he should have said you think he should have said something by now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I'm
been-
sure he had a lot to say before
Like,
all this was happening.
I
right?
apologize for making my wife, driving her crazy, hurting
Mhm.
her.
And also to my ministry, to the people that followed me.
That too. I do want to say though, I don't like how people will like when any news like this breaks or whatever. I don't like how Christians will be like, that's why I don't listen to people like him, and I knew something was
Yeah.
up. Like, yes, there is the discernment of the Holy Spirit, but like his music could have very well still saved lives. Like,
yeah.
For sure. For sure.
He still
Like,
could
I
be
hate-
used. He still
yes,
No, for
exactly.
sure.
But I feel like people are very just like, I knew he was a false sheep or whatever.
Yeah.
from the jump, and that's why like just shut up.
Oh, LNF gave us the insider scoop. I hear he's going to drop an official statement soon, whatever that means.
He's gonna drop it with a new album.
Okay.
Oh, JBlaze305 on Instagram said, "Is he ever going to talk? Do music again?" I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I hope she does though. Whatever booking she was talking about, I hope she just continues to book more and more. Fulfill your purpose, regardless of whatever the marriage is or whatever your husband is doing or whatever. Because I just think that like, bruh,
She gonna come out with a diss track.
I would. Not them battling.
It'll be like, oh, YP and them all over again.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, man, that's wild. But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so that happened, right? Man, that was tough.